Ayo guys, Fat Lizard Boy here, back at it again with the what ifs. So, where we last left off, Deku was declared KIA overseas. So, if you're wondering, if you didn't watch the previous episode, Deku joined the army, got an eye injury and his face was scarred up on the left side, and he was sent home for about a day, but then he got a call to come back in. And they offered him a position in the Special Forces. I didn't say what it was in the last episode, but I'm gonna say... I'm gonna say the Green Berets, but they don't do the kind of ops, at least, not that I know of. Anyways, I was gonna say Green Berets, but I don't think they do that type of op. Doesn't matter. Anyways, Deku joined the Special Forces. He excelled, so they moved him up to a much more classified position. And what I mean by classified, I mean classified as in he did not exist and he died. Officially he's dead. They marked him KIA and then expunged all records, like all DNA traces, all fingerprints, things like that. And all medical history. So he's so nobody knows who he is. And the only people who know are his family, and they think he's dead. They were told that his squad has been ambushed, and he was left so mangled that they had to have a closed casket funeral. Anyways, while Deku was overseas and his squad was ambushed, he had to fight his way out. And this, we're gonna say it's it's a group of terrorists. Anyways, they kill all of Deku's squad. So, he's left out in a foreign country. All of his squad's dead. He has no way to get back home. And all of his communication devices are gone. So Deku decides to leave. And so he does, but whenever he's trying to leave to get someplace safe and get back overseas, he gets kidnapped by this group. And they take him to a unknown place. They lock him up in the basement. It's cold and dark. And what they do is they take all of his dead squad members and throw them down there with him and let them rot. Anyways, so while it's down there, while Deku is locked in a cellar not a cellar, but a basement, he is periodically interrogated, but he's Special Forces, so he doesn't break underneath that. And what I mean by interrogate, I mean like extreme interrogation tactics. He doesn't break. And so, as the torture takes on, and he sees the dead bodies of all of his comrades, he decides an escape plan. You see, okay, so I'm not gonna get into how he thought about this, because he's fucking crazy now. Kind of crazy. He's not as crazy, but he's pretty crazy, though. I keep on talking. I keep on going on tangents like this. Anyways, he hatches an escape plan. He looks over to the desk and realizes there's a piece of metal. It's jagged on the desk. It was part of a pipe. It seemed to a water pipe that had bursted a long time ago. So Deku knew he only had one chance. So he rocked back and forth and got his chair to fall over and hit the desk. The only thing on it was a lamp. uh, a pair of gloves and the piece of metal pipe. Falls down, and Deku is able to put it in his, get it in his mouth. And so, they come down to investigate what all the noise was, and they see Deku on the floor, the table knocked over, so they grab him, they pull him out of the chair, and they decide, hey, another interrogation time. So they take a chair, sit him down, and handcuff each of his hands outwards. And they try to interrogate him by breaking the bones in his left hand. But Deku doesn't squeal. Anyways, they go behind him and they hit him over the head with a wooden plank, and his head lands on the table, and he takes the time to spit the piece of metal in his right hand. Anyways, they give up, they tie him back to the chair, and he cuts the restraints. And he sits back down, and he kicks over the table again. And they rush down, one of them does, and they see that he's still standing up, and the other guys go back up. So the guy walks over to him and goes, what's with the smug look? Because Deku is grinning, kind of. So you see how he has this mangled bit right here? Well, that right there on the left side of his face was caused from an explosion earlier on in his military career. The right side hasn't happened yet. Anyways, so he leans in onto Deku and goes, "What are you thinking, huh?" And Deku goes, "This." He stabs the piece of metal into the guy's neck, gets up, and covers his mouth with his arm, and lets the guy slowly die. He then walks over to a mirror, and he picks up a knife, and he says to himself, "What's with the smug look?" as he puts it in his mouth and cuts the right side of his mouth open. He goes, "I think I get the joke." Anyways, after that, he knocked on the door, and then the other guy comes down like, "What the hell do you want?" And that's when Deku drives a knife into the back of his neck and pulls off the terrorist mask. And he sees a face of fear frozen on him. And so he twists the knife and pulls it back out. And he proceeds to kill all the terrorists in the building. Oh, except for one. One got away. And he tells... it was big. They were a big terrorist group. But this is just a small building they had, mainly. It was for ambushes only, and they were going to have Deku move somewhere else. But Deku escaped before that. But this terrorist who got away runs off and tells his other buddies about how someone with an evil grin killed them all. Anyways, Deku makes his way back over to the States. And whenever he does, first day he gets mugged. First day back, he gets mugged. And he turns around and the mugger goes, "Oh God, what kind of a fucked up face is that?" And Deku kind of chuckles a little bit and goes, "What are you, some kind of fucking clown or something?" Nice grin. And Deku goes, "Oh, you want to hear a joke?" And he goes, Wait, what kind of joke? And goes, here, no, I'll do you one better. How about a magic trick? And the robber goes, oh, what kind of magic trick, you jester? Deku goes, this kind. Deku says, this kind. He grabs the guy's head, smashes it into the wall, and he drags him over to a car and smashes his head through the windshield, and there's a piece of glass sticking up. He then goes, I'm about to make this shard of glass disappear. Slams it down on the guy's throat and rips him off. He then leans into him as the guy is dying because of a shard of glass in the middle of his fucking throat and says, ta-da, as he walks off. And he walks to his family home. Notices there's only one car outside. And he knocks on the door and he's looking around. And the door opens. And he hears his mother say, hello. And he goes, oh, hi, Mom. He's like, wait, what? Hold on. And she turns to look at him. And that's whenever he turns to look at her. And she screams. And that's when Deku steps through the door. Goes, hi, Ma, did you miss me? And she screams again and backs up and goes, you're dead, she can't speak. And that's when Deku goes, what's wrong? You don't like my smile? And she backs up again. And and her foot gets caught on a chair leg and she trips. She falls backwards and she hits her neck on the counter of their kitchen. She's not dead, but it breaks her neck, kind of, and paralyzes her from the neck down. Deku then walks over to her, leans down and says, oh, Ma, why'd you have to go breaking yourself like that? She then goes, how are you alive? And he goes, oh, what kind of sob story did they tell you? And he goes, you died. You were mangled so badly we had to have a closed casket funeral. And he goes, well, either way, I wouldn't want my casket to be opened. And she says, what happened to your face? And he goes, oh, Ma, you see, I used to see the world differently. I used to see it as unfair, rough, violent. But now I see certain things. It's just a stage, a big old play. I'm the actor. She's about to say something, goes, you see, it's always so hard to smile all the time. So I figured, why not smile all the time without all the pain? 'Cause your muscles just get so tired of grinning. So now, I'm always happy, always smiling. His ma's kind of scared and goes, what's wrong, Ma? Don't you just love your son? She won't say a word and goes, what, you don't love me, Ma? She pulls out a knife and puts it up to her face. Come on, Ma. Tell me you love me, Ma. He goes, oh, what's the matter, huh? Cat got your tongue? And, well, after a couple minutes, Deku walks out of the house and he goes into where the bedroom would be, but notices his dad's not there. He shrugs and walks into the garage, and he grabs a keg of gasoline. He torches the body and kind of throws it about haphazardly. He then dumps the canister next to his mother, pulls out a match, crouches down, and goes, Ma, you're about to shine so bright. And then drops a match on her. And the fire was bigger than he expected, so he kind of gets scared and gets shoved back and hits his head on the counter and goes, ow, fucking hell. He gets back up and he notices the smoke alarms are blaring and goes, oh, I better get out of here. And so he does. He gets out and the gas keg, which was half full of gasoline, exploded right next to his mother's corpse. And Deku drives off in her car. And so the next day, he is in somebody's house. Presumably, it's not his house. Not one that he bought, of course. I mean, he can't buy houses. He doesn't exist anymore. No records exist of him ever living. The only records of him that even existed were in his hometown, but those were kept with his family, and his house just burnt to the ground. Anyways, he's in this house. He's about to walk into the kitchen, and he stumbles over a dead body, and he goes, oh, I better get that guy cleaned up. He's gonna start to smell soon. That wouldn't be too good. He picks up the remote and turns on the TV, and it's on the news, and he goes, tragedy has struck a small town in wherever place. As widow, we're not Deku's mother, her name is not mentioned, was killed in a house fire. Her 10-year-old daughter, who was at school, came home to find her house ablaze. All this only a few years after her husband's death. Oh fuck in hell.